Yeah, I've never really worked in a restaurant, so I don't know.
I don't
What are you talking about? You were a scoop specialist.
For
Ben
one
and Jerry's
day.
counts, bro. Oh, you're one dayer also, eh?
One day.
Why did you only last
Actually,
one day?
it's not that I only lasted one day. I've told the story before, so I'll keep it quick. I was never technically hired. I went into Ben and Jerry's looking for a job over summer when I was like 16 because what I did over the summer was coach hockey at a goalie camp, and so I was a coach at one of those camps, and that only lasted like 8 weeks total, all the different camps, maybe even less, 6. And my dad's like, you're not going to just do 6 weeks of work this summer. You got to like do real jobs. So go get Ben and Jerry's or go get something. So I was like driving around, like looking for a job. It's like 2007, 2006, whatever it was. And I found a Ben and Jerry's, went in, this hippie lady was like at the front. And I'm like, are you guys hiring? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, do you have an application? And she's like, oh, don't bother yourself with that. Come on back here. I've been invented. There were no customers in there. Red flag 1. And like I like within 40 seconds of walking into Ben and Jerry's, I'm donning an apron in the back. And this woman is like, how about you just here, you know, with Steve here. If I recall, he's kind of an effeminate guy. You're going to make waffle cones with Steve. And so I made waffle cones for like 5 hours. Not a lot of customers come in. I botched some waffle cones early, got my technique down later. The problem I had early with making the waffle cones is that the hole at the bottom was too large. There'd be too much drippage. And so I fixed that up a bit, got my technique down. Some customers came in, this girl and her mom, and then the effeminate guy was like, go ahead and serve them up. And so then I went over there and the woman asked for something like Choco Monkey Grape or whatever fucking ridiculous flavor they had. And the way they had it listed is, you know, there's like 6 in each giant freezer. There's like 12 flavors and they're stacked like 2 or 3 like that in a row and then in a grid. And the little cheat sheet they had at the top on my end as the scooper, the way it should be is the top one should be what is furthest away from me. It should be like I should be able to lay that down on top of the ice cream. And that's the way it should be organized because I'm not like codename style. Because like if you're not retarded, it was inverted than that. The ones at the top were the ones closest to me. Just didn't make sense. And so I gave this woman
heads or tails of that system?
No one could make heads. And I didn't have the eye expertise yet to differentiate between like puffy ape crunch and you know, the blizzard avalanche Rocky Road Extreme. And so I gave this woman like a big serving. I was trying to hook her up. Gave it to her, and then she looked at it kind of displeased, and my manager was like, oh, that's the wrong flavor. And she was like, it's okay. And then the guy looked at me and was like, first day. And it was like, it's like, I haven't even been hired yet. I'm just working in food service.
Did you get paid for that day?
No. Then I went in the back afterward. They were closing. They were closed. No, I didn't get anything. They were closing. And then I went in the back and the woman was like, all right, we're going to give you a call and let you know when you start. And I like went home, told my dad, like, I'm going to be working at Ben and Jerry's. He's like, good for you, son. Good for you, son. You know, you have like a real job.
One day, boy, it's going to be Ben, Jerry, and Taylor.
It's going to be Ben and Taylor's. You're going to beat that freeloader Jerry out. You're going to get rid of that fucker. And so then like I waited weeks and never heard from them until I, you know, just lady didn't answer my calls, went back, they had closed. And I realized they had just lied to me and just like gotten a free day of work. Because you're not just like suddenly closed down by Ben and Jerry corporate that afternoon. They know it's coming. They took advantage of me. I was basically a slave for one day because I got no ice cream, I got no money, and I got no references. So
that's
wow.
Yeah.
You need to go to Ben and Jerry's and demand reparations.
Dude, Ben and Jerry all their progressive nonsense online, and meanwhile they enslaved me. They enslaved me for one day, and I'm not cool with it. So Ben, Jerry, if you're out there, I don't want to hear a lick about your fucking progressive ice cream until I am paid for my day.
Yeah, he's got a underground railroad that goes to Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, like, I'm going to freedom.
Yeah,
to Baskin Robbins.
Fight the power, brother. Fight the power.
That's what I need to do that. I need to get some of my followers on Twitter to help me harass the Ben and Jerry's corporate account for back payment with inflation taken into account from my day of work in 2006.
Not to mention interest.
Not to mention interest on it and ice cream.
That's like $2 million right now, bro. Go for it.
It is. Yeah, that may have only been 5 hours of work in 2006, but that's 12 hours of work now.
You know, are you sure?
Pain and suffering.
Exactly. Emotional trauma.
Yep.
Are you sure that she didn't, just decide that you weren't Ben and Jerry's material?
If I would have gone back and seen them doing their thing, then maybe that would be the assumption I'd take away. But the fact that they had a going out of business sign, like closing sale shit, it's like, okay, well.
Wait, does that sign there when you worked? Like maybe you should have put
no. It wasn't. I would have put that. I would have put those pieces. I was a retarded 16-year-old, but I would have put those pieces together. Like, yeah. So all I did that summer was coach hockey because Ben and Jerry strung me along.
Coaching
like
swimming was one of my favorite jobs ever.
Like you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did. So the first year I didn't. They said I was a coach, but the kids were so young. I was basically a swimming instructor. And the next year they were a little older, so it was more coaching.
Yeah. I know how that was. Like, I liked the older kids as a hockey coach too, because it was more about like, I could actually shoot on them and stuff a little bit more. If they were like 6-year-olds though, I almost wanted to go to the parents.
Can still shoot.
It's a goalie camp. And so like, I'm not going to rip it at a 6-year-old, but I also wanted to be like, I'd look at the kids and like, I played goalie. And so I knew how much the pads cost and everything. And I'd see like a 6-7-year-old kid and I'd be like, that kid's got way nicer pads than me. Like that kid's got the brand new Vaughn pads and he's probably grew an inch since he got here this morning. These like
my first job was at this place called The Keg. And I was like 14, 15, and I was a dishwasher. So I don't know if that counts as working in the restaurant, but
yeah, it does.
It was the most back-breaking stuff because it's not just washing the dishes, but the cleanup after the restaurant closes. I was like, I realized at that point I was not made for physical labor. Because you have to clean that up and clean up all the stuff above the fans and all that stuff. And I was like I was a young soccer player. I was in shape and stuff, but the morning after my back was bugging me. I was like, oh, I'm not that was a one day. That was a one dayer. I was done.
One day?
Yeah, I was done.
That's as long as I made it at Ben and Jerry's. Yeah.
I worked at a place called
Ben and Jerry's.
Flanders Boardwalk Grill in Ocean City. I started when I was 13. I worked there illegally. You have to be 14 in New Jersey, but I was under the table. And my main job was renting out bikes, but I also peeled potatoes and served food to like the customers and stuff. It never even occurred to me to like do something unkind to the food. I would just make it the way that I thought was good. And then eventually that evolved to making it the way that my boss thought was good, which I guess is a good evolution.
Yeah.
He'd always hate, like, I like my toast to be buttered. All of the, like, there shouldn't be dry spots on the toast. It should have a thin layer of butter from edge to edge. And he's like, you're going to give him a heart attack. I don't know if he thought he was making better toast than me or if he was being cheap with the butter. I still don't know. But that was the kind of feed. He was unpleasable.
You were the toast king. I bet everybody, when they got your toast, they were like, oh, who's the toast? I demand to speak to the toast boy today.
Hey,
because he's killing it back. You come out, you're just covered in butter.
Where's the butter boy? Is the butter boy back there?
Oh,
give me 4 slices of toast. Extra buttery.
I never did anything bad to people's food, but it was hard, dude. I must have had like 15 gallons of potatoes I'd peel at a time. They were boiled the night before to make it a little easier, but it just took forever. It was so much work. It was so heavy.
Isn't there like can't you just like pull it all off in one, like if they're boiled and cold?
I used a butter knife and it would come off very easily.
Oh, you just scrape it, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that like punishment in the military though?
Yeah.
Dude, it was the worst job. Yeah. My boss always screamed at me. If I was even like 1 minute late, he was just brutal. I quit after 2 years of being like abused by him. And I came in 2 minutes late and he just laid into me so he's like, what does your time card say? And it was early too. It was like 5:02 a.m. And he's like, like, what the fuck? Why are you late? I was like, I quit. I can't take it. I can't. Not one more day.
You're showering at 4:40 that morning. Like, today's the day you put your foot down, butter boy.
It's still dark. It is a hard
That's
job.
awful. No,
that reminds me of The Bear. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a new TV show with the guy from Shameless in it.
I've seen a couple episodes of Shameless. It depressed me. I didn't watch anymore.
Yeah,
I love Shameless.
The Bear is an amazing show, but it's about a restaurant, and it will trigger you if you've worked in restaurants. But it's an amazing show. You have to watch it.